You say oil money versus oil money. And no more the boy ni US mountain so. And you have some get to Accra. Hey, extra time na say. Correct oil money for Nangazanga, Kronis Wangazanga, Saudi for Nangasa. I'm with him no boy, Man City, and this so much. Say, Menoka say, Man City, out. The only Premier League side, Wakawo, club World Cup, Chelsea, Chelsea in 7 days, but can't, this is say, the woman, no, because Chelsea, that's what club World Cup on them, but this uncommon. Now, when they are Codian Uncle Ye. I'm from Manchester City. They started brightly. Ultimately, almost games and almost early goals. First 10 minutes win. I mean, sure said this competition. We win bet 3. It's a 4. First 10 minutes na Tanabe Casas is here. But we are the arcade training at the ultimately yes. And then I Rodri to bench near there. Mutumi a ding pa. Emma Habibi for now. Hilal. And the coach, your friend, Simeone Inzaghi. Timu say yes. A papa ni boy juma wadro the money tima and yama de ekoye or but tournament win without a striker. She say Mitrovic Brantiano na pumu de en konkan. Ti no mo hwe ni musanka Victor Osimhen e be ka team no but Victor rejected deal na and then omo buy omo de Brantier friend Leonardo na buy one ma akom ene kwa chire ono ma. Timu say yes enye easy. Abrante friend Koulibaly Bojuma wadro Joao Cancelo Bonu na fi Montimuti Lodi so no diagro papa ba mfimfi wonu so a nervous ne aya Abrante aye friend no aya Milinko Savic omu diagro nyere asamketo Accra omu ma Real Madrid aso ye hye ne adwen se wo ye fluke but anyway omu bob kese ba ko afrimu aya Manchester City afrimu a enya asamketo Accra. Inter Milan Champions League finalist. Thiago Silva and Emrante ni Jiremu. Nyeze 2-0. Nyasam keto Accra. Boma ni so yoma frimu na no na Lautaro Martinez akasa ebufu aba. Kwano bu ofu nyeze. Timu say this season Kofo ne hwe ni musan ka omode club World Cup no be pepa mo ni nusuo. Ezan say no mo petrebo na age. Ni nyina aba omo. Ti no mo hwe ni musan ka club World Cup wi de ka kwan bia so. But Fufia and Tuata. Nene team from Brazil, Bomu 2-0 pa. Yoma from ye den uncle ye system ben on mobile ne all of a sudden Kivu by Christian Kivu by ya team no ultimate team na jakra. Omone Oruwa red diamond for na mu team no masa. Oruwa for ni so mu mi omo kon show mu first good just last kick of the game ansa no mo turn things around share 2-1 njingo for ni team no nhyada anya papa bi asa enti ye be hwe de na enkoso ye ma nei Inter Milan team no agija sa ye be wram na afi bibia tumi akoye ana match kese ba ko betodwa hye no so ye papa Dortmund be boss aso na Real Madrid ni Juventus enso de be da so. You hear goals was our game near the first car. Telling you hear goals 1-0 and 0-0. A happy about having pa. To hear him say match no from the start na Vinicius Munya Monshe. Yeldes Munya Mumungum. Na first half na kama and 1-1 and 2-0 and Anka It's a very near this hard. Teach Muniso and ultimately abroad. Transfer window no so coso. News about to say yes from Germany dear almost say Arsenal abede for Abrante friend Noni Madueke so mo twe Noni Madueke the number room enti omona reporters na uba Fabrizio Romano dia say do player na eka Arsenal mo short list of 3 players it's as almost mo pair another winger versatile winger dia ba beka omo team no ho Abrante aye friend no Noni Madueke ka ho saso na Eze from Crystal Palace eka ho na ukọ Aston Villa so Abrante friend no Morgan Rogers so no omo hwe ni mu say sa 3 players we mu pe ba ko dia ba be kan Saka mo na afenyama atumi akonkan anti Fabrizio kire say yes these are the 3 players omo na emom Arsenal MBD ti say na free Germany ba say Arsenal bid no say bid bi an hyeda anya den enko so emfa enko so ho no na se Chelsea de e ba ne se players e ba mu ne dia eni one hwe na che se goalkeeper na se another defender e be ba na defender be ba wa woni to say left back and eba. Apart from that, it appears that Chelsea is done. Incomings na outgoings, and I say, Omo Baba Shano Mojo Mokwai, Renato Vega Moni, Chuku Mekamo, any Adiana, a sick Crystal Palace Shani Musa, Cabranta Yefreno, Berechi as a co Asna, Nakomabe Fa, and Chuku Meka, at night, PM Sasso, and now West Ham so Shani Musa Kudusu Kwa. Cause Kudus say I say Kudus Abrante friend no ni madoki kode ya Chelsea beko kofa Kudus naba anase Kudus movie ko Tottenham Hotspur because say Tottenham for ni abrepa hwe nim so metwa Abrante no in terms of personal terms there enya problem ho no mo behwe say from West Ham no yiti be rem de hin na ma Kudus obekai Kudus every time bia two teams in a ban ho Brighton and Hove Albion unity mune West Ham you answer chairman choose West Ham ahead of Brighton and Hove Albion enei se ba ne se Tottenham nie Chelsea nie hemfa na obe join ye be hwe de Abrante no likely so obe join na bibia tumi aden etumi akoiti transfer window ni de emu abie kusu e wo ho no ma anya asem keto akra Man United de na ekoso nkofo ni sika sana imbuemo move no still now konkon ho atese otimi se players nkrofo ni hia eni ba akopɛ no ma sign no otimi se amanfo adwalai Man United supporters na dwalai papa ti be rewram na afei ya hwɛ se den ena be koso ne ade a we eni nsɛm bebre a ye bedi hu komo ene na bibia so etimi akoye MYBET.AFRICA MYBET.AFRICA enye ize ese Napoli so ehwe Abrante fe no no alang akwa we ni bo papa okopie mu wo PSV no enovina obo a mo na Abrante fe no Nick Watermed ana Watermed so ese bibia set se Bayern Munich for epeso mo kofa no Bayern Munich for epeso mo ye do mo kofa no se bibia be ye den ebe koyi aso fati so no ni deal na be official wo no ma me no kase enya asem keto akra nti eno ene de woma eno so ye kan ede acho ehonum Aston Villa enso akofa Abrante friend Redmond Zipiqueno o makofa no de nafi Feyenoord ultimate so a free agent as say Aston Villa for no mo so no PSR for no home papa ehonum eno so ne deal la eno enam a ye de ebro nti hyene nso honum na akola woso bi wo Feyenoord ye frɛ no Anthony Melambo onibo brutal akwa ni bo brutal esi bobo kra frɛ no Brentford for akofa ne sɛ o me replace omo captain a eni obu na ketem dia kosi na kan de ama Arsenal honum eno enso ne nkomo no Tammy Abraham call Besiktas enya asem keto akra nti yes eze so no eno so etwetwa gua ne ade a yenkoko rem say John Duran are returning to Europe eni okojone Fenerbahce akwa na kojisika kakra ewo Habibi enya easy ho no Saudi ho no Ronaldo kan o say enya easy the weather condition here ade no say wo ko no one kantima you cannot survive there ti we players na bi mu kwa nche no ma return ho no nti eno enso ne nsam na ho no no yenwura mu man better education ye free wa na afei ababehwe transfer news no na afei abawura mu and draw extensively what went wrong and what went right for both bobu kwa ye frɛ no Fluminense ene Ahilal abuja for mama kwaba
list
bibia kama de
bibia kama
yanhwɛ my better education kakra na Lataro nso nsɛm na ɔka no na yaba be dimu komo ne ade a
okay nti ye hwɛ my better education andra bitu ahwɛfo na afo sɛ sisi afɛ na FIFA Club World Cup na ekono ye real business stage in sɛ ope baby a betimi e discar more of corners unders and fouls and bookings ehɔ na ska wonti ndo hwɛ me the Inter Milan ne Fluminense game ni example says our game no under 2.5 you likely say bet me abo yellow card over 3 over 4 bet me so abo and a corners so ya dey bet me abo hwe game na 7 corners in a be mu game ne end in a 2-0 for Fluminense against Inter Milan. So all the MyBet for bet builder options in your selections and one confirm maybe win and now win or draw be bia you can draw quite bia so no 2 games a course, so that is Man City game no any Inter Milan game no bet me a fiska inte ne wutie me akọ www.mybet.africa na top right corner obehu icon be a circle ni green umia so obehu registration is simple just 3 steps. First one your phone number the audio mobile money transactions uboshema the next one your username wait me use fee din unique name din bia person use but mostly for number count send be man unique to any other edin or platform so na password need the wa unim the obebo ahyewo obo registration is one be send the verification code no verify your account to verify account will become MyBet abusuano when the games ebe cost no bet builder option ebe boye papa in the Real Madrid Juventus uko bet builder we 10 different options for her. So our game where it goes back into over 2.5 ya dey bet me abo both team to score ya dey bet me abo corners ya dey bet me PM or bookings e bet me PM or until any we are MyBet.Africa use on bet builder option no e FIFA Club World Cup games e koso now on for fiscal e on platform so
right it's MyBet in common yedi no MyBet.Africa TV uko YouTuber yes stream it and street is watching Facebook na ABN Radio 1 and so twa good den honma anya sam keto akra ba bia black market ne koso no sports arena Telegram account no na fee uko TikTok sports.arena.news sa pepe yanko transfer news nim yenremu the dynamics yenremu na afi bibia so no enkoye honom
yeah list to see transfer news I starting free baby na udi in common for concerning Arsenal and enya mo hwe so betimi ahwe Arsenal team na o mehu say last season e ka ketua bi nkomut omutimi ben Premier League title na do baby Liverpool timi twi omu nti enei injuries and a mass had any buy. Intend on person will be fear of squad needs so well to the extent say Saliba ni ho se Gabriel ni ho a obi betimi aba boa in every position omo hwe say they would get quality and unti na ne o metimi aba fa Kepa Arrizabalaga aba beka David Raya ho omo hwe say up front kwan bia so strikers no still omo monitor situations no with 2 strikers omo hwe nti kwan bia so they will add a striker. Now they are looking at adding a versatile player betimi aba right wing left wing and a 10 rule no and unti na who the likes of Eze, the likes of Noni Madueke and a Morgan Rogers dia etimi aba be more with these 3 players omoma quality are here in any team. Noni Madueke in the best position the right wing position or etimi ball from the left wing as a 10 in so betimi aba because was on the ball or very good on the ball betimi aba that role no. Same as Morgan Rogers, same as Emereche Eze. These are 3 quality players. Omubia to me Arsenal team numa. Next season baby fear for squad ni especially challenging the likes of Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea for that title race no. And these 3 players Arsenal fan maybe say why na Osha will best fit their team. So ubisa me with these 3 players contract wise is a contract near very easy mass now, especially a longer payment plan. I bet me a bomb and then Morgan Rogers and so Aston Villa here sky into any Arsenal borrow more no more that is 50-60 million with an also a good payment planner Aston Villa bejatum because omu here sky and they didn't come Aston Villa person tom female team no Emma another company on bet me a manager yes kaka balance your books into easy and Rogers contract no at the was Arsenal for Madrid some person borrow more bet me Noni Madueke be the most difficult one because as of now Chelsea near na again say or turn the player see you here scar balance the books and here sky BB.
So you need to pay more.
Yes, you need to pay more to get
Noni
Madueke. With these 3 players, no, the easiest one be easy. And Morgan Rogers because of Aston Villa here scan but Noni Madueke the end be inti who said they are sending kind their rumor say Arsenal made it make it bet to Chelsea but as of now there be Chelsea receiving anything for Noni Madueke na Chelsea nye na dream to say obema player ko say Noni Madueke kwa na Chelsea ehwe Mohamed Kudus any boss no but West Ham also structure mo dey ma Chelsea no Chelsea in favor Chelsea because West Ham hear say Chelsea pair Mohamed Kudus almost epe Robert Sanchez. Nti on person we a deal including Robert Sanchez, there will be money added on. Our move as a Chelsea the by far. And as at now, the Chelsea man Robert Sanchez acquire, meaning that they have to enter the market and get another goalkeeper. Because in the likes of Pendes, Petrovic more, but they will need another experienced goalkeeper beat me about me. That deal near the back where they are now. But between Eze and Rodgers, I think the Arsenal pay an ideal player who would come in and fit into those three roles. A bit me about year. I would like say they will go for Morgan Rodgers because Omas have versatility in the up front, left, right, short, passing. Be out. The back team who a bit me about. Before the end of July, you be who say Arsenal within these three players. Why not beat me a for and also striker Bain and on beat him their kind team. Okay, John Duran as him. January mu and answer for this car a Aston Villa and more Moji team movie call. After 6 months, there were rumors even after the 3 months. They say, "Quine be as no person free." Intina Europe quine egusu ebiama or her so bet me movie. And if Anabachi eremu Akofa your furniture and John Duran, which a quality and a boy will show in the Premier League from the start of the season. That is August, the January. No be any we go per minute ratio as seen with Premier League, including the likes of Erling Haaland and some of the top players. Or my consistent second half goals or Bimubiana or Babishi goal. And I answer for the fan is on Bambe Bois. Now Ronaldo Nin and Branton in Team Queen, but of course, Ronaldo a player behind a meaning Queen and Yafina injury by Betchina more by Benny Biabo. Into either sound in the bebo. Now only a bone so they are. You would have to support him. When man is a boss, no beating that she go in John Duran, the style of play. Or a more of a finisher, ball striker, and a wait me Fanabachi. I think it's a good move for Fanabachi. And that ye name him say ye Jose Mourinho. This is the type of strikers on our pay. That fighters in the box present and your mom about short. In the which may room we about Jose Mourinho to battle the likes of Galatasaray and a Besiktas to make sure so bet me aje that Turkish league if you are Monsa last season. And they say right take you ye Jina take you Tammy Abraham from AS Roma to Besiktas on a baby club record fee. I wait me right now be at me ako ye and they are playing more or Koteki. Aqua in the medicals are finalizing BBR ababe can your friend is saying Besiktas Ebusiano or Baba can coach na or Man United former coach or Baba can who amene or beat me about more than one thing at Turkish league near this season. I mean, when they say they are signing quality players on person battle Galatasaray at top players snatcher Eddie Ajay League snatcher and any other clubs are also putting in pressure to make sure say Enyama ebetimi akoye amo metimi abom mo de no metimi put a lot of pressure. And officially Aston Villa and Man United at say Marcus Rashford kwan bia so 40 million no muntimi ntua. Eni Aston Villa mo chire mo yie papa. Njo mo hieska omo ntimi nyiska bi omo san ko for Rashford of 40 million na Man United aka say the release clause da ho utimi tua betimi abo. Intene Rashford be returning to Man United, but Rashford and so ama Man United for what say kwan bia so on person obotim bia wo England obio o person otu kwan eko Europe. Into that is the likes of Barcelona near team Semsemo Spain you bisa na about Lamine Yamal about Barcelona in La Liga team no more praises no. And they Ebiana Barcelona with an offer of 40 million on betimi room, but see a Barcelona priority and then Nico Williams and umponi scanning sema ba be payment structure on person de ma Bilbao for some person muti into any maybe so meant me rather Nico Williams conversation now they can look at Marcus Rashford. I think Man United will be willing to give Barcelona a good payment plan 3-2 windows so betimi to scan because almost has a Rashford wages ni betimi free on books no mama munso etimi add other players like Mbemo and other qualities almost has some the beba team into any transfer mu teams no businesses and they come out in so etimi copy Atlanta akwa the medicals they be one official statement from Atlanta say come out in me bomb pie say oko hono or born home din ada coach FNO with Ivan Jovic as pan because only put in effort
and he actually prevented him from leaving.
Yes.
When he wanted to move to Ajax.
Yes.
Though the last delay, but or an opportunity to play and
Wakwakofanaba until me Jidiso on so be ye no one other coach nasi with a good performance or ni look my money retegimo there will be a very good front three Atlanta performance next season. Had the likes of Juventus mo pan.
All right.
Yeah, Listo, and me transfer no, me share no in a more of a Ghanaian interest no kakra, especially on Mohamed Kudus and Sani Dara. On say or you'll be obeying Mohamed Kudus here, so he's been talking about the transfer of Mohamed Kudus. There's a lot of things surrounding Mohamed Kudus. Because last weeks ago, some weeks ago, Mebeka said Mohamed Kudus are changing the agency to Roof. That is the same agency. Brandt and the Sule Myanmar, and so they have a lot of Kai Havertz more and a lot of especially German agency, so they have a lot of the Florian Wirtz kra a more player, so and Chebiana Mohamed Kudus movie. So when Kudus a changing the agent, was obvious definitely there's going to be a move in Yami this summer. But then, before I remember Kudus, I think say Kamadin Suleiman, I'm happy for him because Ofia Suleiman and the talent and I met him say he hasn't reached the potential in terms of injuries and because those days are not Rene, and there's a difference between Doku and Suleiman, and they said Doku has been productive, especially in the final release of the ball. They good. Kamadin, that is the only thing I'm concerned of in terms of the dribbles, in terms of the take-ons, in terms of set all taking players on creative chances very good, but mostly the final pass and the final strike and emanating productive. And as a winger going to Atlanta, they are going to measure him like the previous seasons are. Any other Lukman, they are there. As a winger, I know say with the coach or no, especially he also has another Ghanaian brother there,
Sulemana.
Another Sulemana or Bebonamana settle in. So I think that he's a player that walk on no pressure, he can take the Serie A by storm with the pace and the skills, and I think that he's going to do very well. Now
I think one thing he needs now at this stage of the career a home.
Yeah.
Have a stability at
and being consistent without injuries. That is one thing I think is affecting.
Yeah, but Syria no a pace and intensity no. Yeah. It's not
to the
level of the Premier League and even the League One. So if you are able to, it will that rushing because of the closeness of the league, rushing. I think that it will help him to improve any output. Anyway, so he needs to ensure Atlanta is going to be my home. The next move will be a bigger move. Moving to the bigger league, so we can only wish him well.
Now, listen to Mohamed Kudus deal. You see, West Ham reporters reporting said he's been offered to Chelsea. Both Chelsea correspondent to Sky Sports, BBC, and West Ham phone confirming said he's been offered to Chelsea. And prior to the season, I'm gonna say Obia Ode Sanchez by Chelsea was Graham Potter.
Yeah.
And on any Juma of Brighton, and he also insisted say can anybody say Kubenya Sanchez or Brighton. Now Chelsea
West Ham.
Sorry. Now so actually Chelsea transfer move or more deals, especially since Paul Winstanley, Joe Shield, and Stewart Mobile now. Always when they are going for players, they like players they can play 3 to 4 positions. And then normally can I say Joao Pedro coming to Chelsea, he's not coming in as a striker beyond Liam Delap and Nico Jackson never be. He's coming as that hybrid left winger, hybrid number 10 role. That is what I see him as more of a replacement to Abranta and Eddie Nicolas Nkunku. They need somebody who can play as an hybrid left winger, as a second striker, and also as a number 10 or now when Mohamed Kudus deal nearby and transfer issues nearby. So we will be what full Mohamed Kudus from the Right to Dream Academy to the Ghana under 17 all the way to Ayas or Koninginana. When Ayas score Gotia Cup, first time Mohamed Kudus score Gotia Cup list Mohamed Kudus was playing as the number 9. Recent 9, I think a year before Beba West Ham. The videos be of Kobo Right to Dream for Kobo Gotia Cup and ever out. He was playing as the number 9 for a team and the Right to Dream before our movie. And Obekaya, season Mohamed Kudus share Liverpool. In the Champions League prior, I think that game, the second leg against Liverpool, injury that season, Anna Brian Brobe Embono, he was playing as the first 9 for Ajax before he moved from Ajax or by West Ham. He is quite unfortunate. Say 24 years of age now. Reporter and Sunny Dara, who is closer to Kudus, and some of the people I know they are closer to Kudus. Say Kudus would only want to move to where he will play the Champions League. So there's been Saudi Arabian clubs, 2 clubs are Omaba, they want to pay, and they are aware of the salary Mohamed Kudus is taking at West Ham, and they are ready to triple the salary now at Branton Agent. But now, and they will check it. Mohamed Kudus, and especially some of the Ghana key players, moving to Saudi. If Mohamed Kudus goes Saudi in a year, he will still play the champions, get a call up. Unlike the other European countries, I'll call Saudi coach's name for Anyefi. But now, and Kabaka say Kudus the Nkaye has always getting the money about motivation. But now he has said it. He's young. He can still stands for lots of years. Obet Mabo, Europa, Obet Menya. I mean, some good fortune. I mean, he's okay. Now the boy wants to play in the Champions League, and there's been 3 clubs at least are connected to Abraham and Mohamed Kudus. 1, it was Newcastle. 2, Chelsea, and then the latest club, Timandin, Tottenham Hotspur. 2 teams out of the 3 are more linked to Mohamed Kudus, and then England. There are clubs in the Spanish La Liga and also the Italian Serie A. Mohamed Kudus, but the boy wants to play in the Champions League, and 2 clubs currently approaching. They've been offered him the chance to buy that Mohamed Kudus. Champions League, Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur. Now, you look at the Chelsea setup, and to me, who check the Chelsea team now? Chelsea being linked to Mohamed Kudus, me I'm not surprised, because Kudus no listo. When it comes to that hybrid left wing now, Joao Pedro Bono. He can play from that side. So recently Chelsea game in the number 4-2-2 tonight. Always a Kwakuye, Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer, and as a double number 10 behind the striker with the players number who do with him. Now, if Mohamed Kudus is coming in, the last time a premier Kevo or correspondent for Chelsea to Sky Sports, Eka said, right now Chelsea for no almost team now they need players they can play 3 to 4 roles according to how person set up a team from next season the project they are doing. And Amuka say a ball carrier player who can carry the ball from the from phase 1 to phase 4 in attack. I'll beat my ball from the wings, beat my ball from the middle, beat my ball even as a second striker. So me Mohamed Kudus being linked to Chelsea, me I'm not surprised that he's been linked to Chelsea, and the profile no about him. He's coming in with that versatility in Chelsea here, because you got to a time when Chelsea needed a right winger, and Chelsea for a winger, a left winger who can also play as a number 10 for Chelsea. And did you only search Smith Rowe, a lot of names about, and finally they settled on Brenton Palmer, paid 50 million for a City graduate on Shedden a first team playing time. A lot of people we're talking, but they are using the data, player statistics, how good the player is and how the player can fit into the role. So the Chelsea being linked to Mohamed Kudus, me I'm not surprised. He fits the kind of player they need from the left side. Right now they've got their man in Joao Pedro, that hybrid number 10 left wing second striker, Obebo from the right side. They've gotten someone and now they are searching for someone who can also play as that hybrid left wing. Already they have Kopama there, and ideally that is where Kopama, but that hybrid second striker left wing also has a number 10 from the left side. But they also need another profile of player. When Chelsea they will need counter-attacking football quickly. A dribble ball not taking on carry ball no good, and Kudus bar West Ham watch over the Premier League last season on the techie. He was one of the either top 2 players or mutimi a carry ball and take ons, and statistics and data no back here Branton. So I'm not surprised that he's been linked with Chelsea. Now these 2 clubs and the West Ham for them Chelsea, I always say Sanchez deal no, they don't want any discover Sanchez. They say they want separate deals.
Yeah.
They want separate deals to balance their books. In a year, Kudus 45 million, 80 million pounds about Chelsea. Yes, so you're maybe 5 million or 20 million or 50 million for Robert Sanchez. So that transfer deal, anyhow. But now the question is, Kudus' age, new age, if it's into the Chelsea place. But you see, are Chelsea going to pay 80 million? Because Kudus, he will not come cheap. West Ham for or more player on bit marathon and yes kakesi Mohamed Kudus, not even Jared Bowen. So the Akin said they will not sell the player less than 70 or 80 million pounds. But are Chelsea going to pay that amount of money, knowing for a fact that Mohamed Kudus is coming in this competition? Definitely, maybe he's not the missing piece of Omo project no more. But they will need him. If Obano be competing as he needs to start, they will start him. He can hold the weight, whatever they want Mohamed Kudus to do, especially from middle flanks. In front of the goal, he can do.
I think he will start in this Chelsea setup because he's too good.
He's more.
He's too good.
He's coming to compete with Cole Palmer. What you say?
So now they are looking at. It appears that they were looking at Hugo Ekitike, Mohamed Kudus, and Joao Pedro. For sa versatility now no more. And now we choose Joao Pedro because the deal was straightforward. Brighton wanted him to move on. He also wanted to move, and the price tag and also the now with Kudus the answer, Babiem the fact say tied to Noni Madueke. What will happen to Noni Madueke? Because they are looking at in case there is a forward player who want to leave. If Jackson leave and I say accept the competition now ban on pay so we'll move on. Chelsea will have to enter the market again. If Pedro Neto say he want to leave, Noni Madueke, Abasa Arsenal want him, right? So that is why Mohamed Kudus a conversation there. And so if player like Noni Madueke enya start at Chelsea, then the person will be replacing which Kudus or experience, the quality and the number in terms of goals near the idea. Versatile. Versatile. The possibilities will be to start here then. High because as we speak, a tournament when I'm will be able to Pedro Neto enya a good way than Madueke.
But the season under review, I mean, excluding the FIFA Club World Cup, I think that Pedro Neto was ahead of Noni Madueke. He was one of, our best players, especially the latter stage of the season.
The entire season, the best winger.
No, the entire season.
What they are now they share
in terms of numbers.
Assistant.
In terms of numbers, goals and assists, because Pedro Neto had double digit.
The same as Noni Madueke.
But the friends.
Noni Madueke assisting.
Pedro Neto was even the Premier League.
I think 9 goals, 9 assists.
Because the reason why I make a say Pedro Neto didn't be a season. It was Madueke in the starting season. Madueke had his moments, but the thing is, Pedro Neto no also a player who can also play from all the angles. As when we were missing Nicolas Jackson. He was playing as the number 9 for Chelsea. So with him, say compare Pedro Neto and Noni Madueke in terms of numbers last season, especially in the Club World Cup, I share 3 goals. In the Premier League last season, this season, I share 4 goals and provided 6 assists. That is 10 goals contribution for. And in the first ever season at Chelsea.
And Noni Madueke had 16.
In the Conference League, Abrant Osher 1 goal and provided 2 assists, which is 13 goals, goals and assists in that regard. Now, we check the FA Cup and the EFL games or boy in the EFL Osher 1 goal, which makes it 14 goals and assists, and also in the FA Cup games are Obama Chelsea one should go in the FA Cup. Yes, in the FA Cup, about 3 games, 1 should go and run provided. So 14 goals and assists for him.
Noni Madueke had 15 in the league alone. 15 goals and assists. Assists 4 and I goals 11.
Noni Madueke.
Yes, in the Premier League alone.
Madueke share 11 goals. No, I don't think so. Share 11 goals.
All competition.
Madueke and share 11 goals.
Okay, 41 games.
Yes,
11
because
goals
competition.
and 4 assists.
Madueke shares just 7 goals and provided 3 assists, which is 10 goals. But the reason I make us say, what they the friend is saying, Euro Conference League.
In terms of numbers, there he had a better season than Pedro Neto, and no doubt about
that
it.
that is what I make us say right now. No, Pedro Neto na how versatile he is.
Yes.
But then Noni Madueke,
Honestly, show
against Liverpool, he played from the left side. But with Pedro Neto, no, a bit from the front train, from the left, from the right, and even as the first number 9, who such important goals, especially goal share against AFM. So, and then Mohamed Kudus to Chelsea, I'm not surprised if he gets the nod that he's coming to compete. But to me, between West Ham and Tottenham Hotspur, and come may expect to say and Quebec Tottenham, because with Chelsea there's a lot of competition coming there. But with West Ham or Kowa from the right side,
no.
oh, say
Tottenham.
Give me points name.
What's the West Ham?
What's the West
Me say
Ham?
from West Ham to Oba Tottenham. Yeah.
You made a mistake.
Okay.
West Ham.
So Oba Tottenham with Enzo Maresca there, no, I clear that the Chelsea for Nkwama where say there are some players are almost untouchable. But then if all the right price is bar, some of the players will go. Now with Tottenham, it's a new coach, Thomas Frank, but he doesn't care whether Bernard Johnson, whether Kulishevsky, whether Juan it's a new team. Come Oba, I say new coach, a new team. He can enter into the Tottenham team as easy as as that. But with the Chelsea game, no, Enzo Maresca, so he has the certain type of players definitely Oba start in some games, and you see even with the Stavio Willian or Obabebano, we don't even know, because Chelsea fan said the boy is coming to stay. He's part of a long-term plan. So with me, I would expect say Kudus be bad. I mean, he's a player. Even if Oba Chelsea team or come out with the qualities and talent, Mohamed Kudus, if Oye ready to be competitor, he can compete and get playing time at any team be available. So to me, I think that if the right move bar right now, West Ham for no any Tottenham for no, I think say Kudus agency that is roof.
I said they are leading.
For no. But the thing is, Listo, Kudus to Spurs move. No, you see, West Ham functions and I'm on time town players in my Spurs. There's some rivalry, and you see, apart from that rivalry, they believe that Spurs for there are a lot of players are always no person come Umbra West Ham. Spurs for no they believe Spurs fans some of your teams especially in the landing rivalry. Person beton players they don't do that at all. The last player West Ham tournament Spurs was a former for coach Scott Parker.
Okay.
In the early 2000s. And anytime a player be moving from West Ham to Spurs, they say West Ham had acro relegation. Same as Jermaine Defoe, Michael Carrick. And now Scott Parker, who is the last player on this move call. But the Amai who said West Ham any Tottenham for a exchange player was recently when 2015. Adebayo na Pochettino say here Adebayo was surplus to requirements at that West Ham team. But then they decided say West Ham so Penukrana say betonama West Ham Daniel Levy so betonama the tanfu pa de Kobema Adebayo at na bench ama the biometrianica. So he didn't let the player move. Wama Adebayo and since then West Ham for no they have a very bad relationship with Daniel Levy. And that deal can store this moment Kudus to Tottenham Hotspur. That is one thing about West Ham and AAE. So if Mohamed Kudus is going to move, it means that he's going to be the first player since Scott Parker moving from West Ham to Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay. Is that all? Because transfers in the Braille system.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's Liverpool for no. And no, I'm also Kakra and Listo. Whatever Liverpool are doing in the transfer market, they are doing an incredible work finding the right pieces for Omo puzzle. Finding players who are more experienced, players who can fit in with the pace, with the pressure. And in fact, Liverpool Crampono are more supporters, they don't give pressure like that. So anybody who can cope with the Premier League pressure and whatever. And a boss about a Magui deal and reports just Liverpool are intensifying to get a deal done. And they watch Ibrahim Akonate, Yamiadman next season, this coming season, or just 1 year left on the contract, and contract extension they've been negotiating, they've been talking about it, and they are hoping that they will get a player if in the next 2 years, 3 years, Virgil van Dijk is not there, they will get someone, a Premier League proven player, someone who can also fit into a Omo defense so easily. And Gui coming into Liverpool, no, won't make a certain channel. Ibrahim Konate will start ahead of him. Now they've sold Kwanzaa to Leverkusen, and on Monday Magui back to Liverpool. Likely say they will sell a Branton Elliot Almode a buyback clause as an so now. Liverpool, after Omania a right back, Omania a left back, they are trying to get one defender that is a central defender. Then again, they will get a striker. And Liverpool for no, they have a list of players. If they are able to get a right deal for Darwin Nunes, no, there's a lot 2-3 class from Saudi Arabia, but he doesn't want to move to Saudi as of now. Okay. And Obi to say Luis Diaz, a lot of clubs are showing interest, Barcelona, Bayern Munich, but the asking price of 80 million, I don't think that these clubs are ready to splash that cash on Abranta and Luis Diaz. But Darwin Nunes, likely he will get a team to move. So with 3 strikers are Liverpool for aligning up. Okay. Benjamin Sesko, Alexander Isak, and your friend is saying
Osimhen. So
yes, Osimhen, and a striker and a Chelsea pen France ni Hugo Ekitike, and then Abranta and Alexander Isak. They said they will finish their transfer this season with one of these strikers, and definitely they are hoping so Ombenya a natural defensive midfielder, because we end of Freeman, they don't have any typical DM. And I was looking like if Liverpool they can pay as much as 250 or 300,000, they can go in for Thomas Partey, and Partey will be an ideal player for them. Maybe they would want some a player or be young for them, maybe or wait major, but then with the kind of players Liverpool are doing, at least they are doing this summer, if they are able to get their targets, Maguire coming in, then the 3 strikers are lining up, said definitely they will splash cash on one of them. If they're able to get that striker with still Mohamed Salah staying, and defenders flowing vets coming in, I think that Liverpool, they can still maintain the league. So I think that more transfer business so far has been incredible, and they are also hoping so how they started the transfer window, they want to end it on that very note now. At least there will be, a big surprise for the teams next season.
Okay, I'm sure Andra games now.
Yeah, let's do Andra games. Then starting free Inter Milan game on the ball. Andra, we share the style of players. You see, we are friendly saying Christian Chivo Airbo Inter Milan is similar to that of Inzaghi there or Jato, but Utumu said now the problem has been the variations are no bit me add him say Inzaghi one of the top coaches. This Inter Milan team or Marco 2 Champions League finals in 3 seasons. HSA with me up but team no Bayern Manyama team koyi. I think it was a good game for the Brazilian side, that's Fluminense. At the Inter Milan side, they came into this game as the underdogs, and in this setup, they had to change their formation to be able to suit Senior Inter Milan Bono. So they matched Inter Milan's formation, but their only difference in this setup was they were playing with a number 10. And Inter Milan they ball with 3 center mates. A ball muye. Oshe players we say we have friends Hercules coming in the second half, good performance. They were using pace, experience. Inter Milan were experienced on the side. I was surprised not seeing Acerbi in the lineup, because playing against a team on also with 2 strikers, you need experience to be able to mark them well. Indra, Thiago Silva and also their goalkeeper friend Fabio, they were the quality players on the pitch. These 2 players are the oldest players in the competition. Goalkeeper needed 44 years, and Thiago Silva did 40 years. But you could see, say, they don't have enough energy in their legs, but experience, say, be a drain in the ball. He was able to limit the likes of Lautaro Martinez and Thuram from getting even a goal in this game. I think the Brazilians' performance in this FIFA Club World Cup, Boswa. Now they have 2 teams in the quarterfinals. So they can meet in the semi-finals, which will be 2 Brazilian teams in the semi-finals. So Palmeiras, any Chelsea game, the Senia Beko, and also the likes of Fluminense, any maybe Alliad game, Senia Beko, they can get themselves into the final. I think Inter Milan, this defeat should be something it should send a big warning to their president. I didn't make us and they say, share their squad. Say, my squad age average is 30 years.
Average
30.
age
30.2. Ushe mom goalkeeper Soma, 36 years. Uyi Asebi nam 37. Damien and all Man United Nancy 35. Their youngest player in their setup that is Turama with 27. Lautaro Martinez already 27, and player friend Dimarco on 27. Apart from that, the youngest team Empoya Bastoni 26. Into the squad a good time eso Motina say no mutimi rebuilding with a good coach and also a good like almost spend it because you name say the Italian league has been one league you name say obi born the ball baby I know akwa ho pressure and you know but if you want to compete in the highest level of football, get into that Champions League final again and win, then they need to do a good rebuilding. I think Christian Chivo coach won't mean boy Inter Milan going forward. I think maybe the likes of Thiago Motta with a young, vibrant coach trying to get to the highest level. No, the Inter Milan team will shine and getting money to get in quality players. They can be able to make some huge difference in the setup. Okay, their wing backs, that is Dumfries and Dimarco, they are aging, and in Finfio, a lot of they are aging, so they need to get in a good squad, especially getting into the Champions League next season, the Serie A next season. Who said these clubs are putting up a good performance, but Mebo Fluminense for Abasu, they were able to match Inter Milan boot to boot, stopping the likes of the Dumfries and player friend Dimarco from getting all those chances are Omentimi and converting. In the match of the night, and then Manchester City and the Al Hilal game. No, these 2 teams, senior boss, 2 oil teams they are being financed so well to make sure say performance because you Al Hilal team or the buyer. Say bia obian bo team ni dian che abedwi say maybe a European team because omukuta quality, the likes of Koulibaly, Bonu, Cancelo, Lodi, and other players are team numa. This is quality. They would give you any good game on any day. They named some bomb first game against Real Madrid. Now for Real Madrid for, but this game would make you understand how tactically good Xabi Alonso episode set up this Real Madrid setup. Man City echo with a more of a 4-1-4-1 formation and who said this season and Pep Guardiola episode for, but the variation is near more of name apart from Nunes, that's Matthew Nunes or invertible bono. And you know any doku, it's either one gets into the half space, it's not about quite touch line. They'll be rotating, depending on how our opponents never press you. In Tindra, they had a good first half. Tijani Renders and Gina as the lone number 6, and Gundogan and Bernardo Silva area into those half spaces. I think they were performing so well. Osha the game they played in the first half, if City were clinical to be able to take their chances and combat me a share. I led by 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, in the first. I think the goalkeeper was superb.
Yes, the goalkeeper too was superb. Draw one save be or it was all over social media. He was on the floor. As Savinho ball shot me who the ability to me when they want to just parry the ball away, and that is one thing I experienced. Yes, and
I think
virus. You
can give
the save was superb.
Yeah, you can give credit to the goalkeeper.
Yes.
So anticipating no saving. But is it not a bad kick? You know, say the goalkeeper is on the floor. But so taking a chance to place the ball on the floor rather than raising the ball because a clear keeper no offend that. No keeper no confirm. So what do na be chance kakra?
Yes.
To the empty net and the distance
the pace of Sahara no
he was to be honest, he was in control of the ball. I think any experienced player Kobeshe. A experienced player and also say he's a player who under a lot of pressure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think tournament try so bit me reviving Hokaka. Osha Man City set up and do a mission game no. One thing I'm hearing is a Man City always are defending with 4 or 3 men, and they have 6 or 7 men in their opponent's box, which in the mission not quite be so kaka, because if Pep Guardiola is to bring the same type of system and not dropping some men back, now or not doing so boxy opponents no in from the center line in the Diaz any value almost starting position be just below the center line kakako half, which Ali lad for you so 2 counter attacks in the first half by Anfa. And this is something as a Pep Guardiola will call with the same formation in the Premier League, meaning say the first 2 substitutions are by center backs, because now you get your center backs running up and down, sir. Until now you say in the game 53rd minute and you value film because na energy no was down. So this was something going forward it gives them a lot of option in the box and around the box. Ednori obe finding that type of the who under Cucurella no time every time he finds himself available it will space a bit me adding more to attack. Jeremy Doku improved very well this season, amami, especially in the FIFA Club World Cup. The movement of the ball and the way of person of force ball in the remo and Haaland and Yafina Yababekan Wasem, his presence in the box very good. Tijani Renders, which in the first half rule or the boy many Anjeho, because in him said Tijani Renders is more of a box to box player. He wants to arrive in the box and make sure so we're taking the chances. But he was playing as the lone sixer, so distributing balls, no, and allow the likes of Gundogan and Bernardo Silva get into the box. But the second half, you Rodri coming in and Tijani Renders was freed into those roles. I think on the Man City side, no player or performing ye Emame Bernardo Silva. Ne arrival in the box, ne set even ne corners or 2 year in the game, or to almost 7 corners at Manchester City. Back open into me and finding a player, and this is quality. And Nuntianya Mwase Pep Guardiola the captain and man because he has shown game in game out say no any rule be out in the ball. We've seen him even dropping low to come and take balls and even moving the ball. Do a ball full 120 minutes and when who a drop in performance in his play, which is something that it will help Man City going forward. But Pep Guardiola, they need him to acquire assistant coaches about in his press or can say the likes of your friend is saying Pep Mo, any to your friend say Kolo, any James Mo, they are adding a lot and he's drinking a lot of knowledge from them. But I think now he's drinking that Liverpool's club more type of knowledge. Now they were trying to play like we're changing pressing with a lot of energy being used on the pitch. I in Pep Guardiola team no is more of like possession, but they are using a lot of energy. I know say he wants to do that because any good squad depth. Game we are coming from the bench, no Rodri or Foden or Chekimo coming from the bench, any Mamush mo. But their games are if you go against the likes of Barcelona, the likes of Bayern Munich, the likes of Paris Saint-Germain with this setup, they would punish you with counter attacks, which was good. I think Enuna Inzaghi, who in the second half, in the first half they were trying to go boot to boot with Man City, and how, but in the second half they made their mind to sit back a little. No more Isuma Alcon more, any Leonardo more on the pace, on the counter breaks. I think almost set up. Lodi was one player. He was exceptional on the night. That left back row, or go into the half spaces, overlap and make sure so Timmy gets the ball into the final third. My performance in the Korea. And they were underdogs coming into this game. No BNM said they wouldn't be able to match Man City. Man City was the only team winning the 3 games in the group phase. Opinion who team win here. No BNM say pressure. Ebeba Alila 2 year pa any Inzaghi, but Inzaghi chair say yes, he's one of the most experienced coaches in the world. And they on the Pep Guardiola Asia, that is the Champions League or share 1-0 who performance or done on that night. And then you see me share Pep Guardiola Bioma ultimately that win. Koulibaly was very sharp on the night. He was I was very surprised because we hear Koulibaly time watch Chelsea in any way out to say there a lot of difference in body shape and the way he was fighting for the ball. I think it was a good game. They've been able to make people know say the Saudi League and not just a retirement type of league will be alcohol. So but they are trying to improve and battle with the European clubs. The FIFA Club World Cup a blessing in disguise among, and also the Brazilian clubs to be able to show the world say the European clubs the ball no more born almost be to minimum boot to boot abwa. They were able to get that crucial 4-3 win against Manchester City. Now they'll be facing a team in Fluminense, another team almost so surprising for you. Me can have say Oshom performance idea one team on shena on show. Inti either say the game they could draw onya chance or obeteki. Inti Indra omunya 2 chances in the 3rd minute and the 93rd minute to share in Inter Milan. So a game against Al Hilal babe a good game. These are 2 teams it will be a defense against attack, and experience with the likes of Thiago Silva and Koulibaly being that key man in the defense. It will be a good quarter-final game for these 2 teams. In Jebehre, send a bit to me. Ako ewo.
Okay.
Yeah. Listo. So see, I want to say, Kepa the goodbye message at my Chelsea fans.
Yeah.
Yes. And see, finally, Kepa Arrizabalaga. Their thank you message to Chelsea after 7 years. Kepa free Chelsea, I say with love and respect. So I clear said definitely he's going to join Arsenal and Chelsea for so are confirming the transfer of the departure of Abraham Ede Kepa Arrizabalaga. Now, Maminra Al Hilal and Man City game, and it is a virus beating me the lineup of 2 teams in to so I think that Enra before you ever game no. The day I share Man City, how I'm setting up on my team, especially with the inclusion of Ait Nouri in the 3rd picture, no, that is the 4th picture, the first lineup, no. Yes, into City for no day, you can say how I'm holding on with the more fullbacks supporting and making depth at that side, no, was something that we spoke about it, and Washa. Yes, also can say more that defensive stability now. So definitely, who could show it is a Brentford, Crystal Palace, other teams, especially the Premier League. There are several ways of making my head into list. So this is how Endrano City for set up on my team. No, yes, this is how we set up on my team with Diaz, Vardiol, Nouri, any Abraham and the Nuno Mendes and Tijani Reinders, Eke Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Jeremy Doku, Haaland, any as usual, Abraham and Samiho. Now, if you look at this team, as usual, whenever they are attacking, Ombe attacking, Doku will hold the weight, Savio will hold the weight, then Itinerary, any Abraham and Nuno, the Portuguese international, no, support you. If or no corner can defense, no, Tijani Reinders, Bernardo Silva will run in behind most spaces. So it was something that they did very well. And you see, there is one thing to say. Inzaghi teams are mostly or more holding the weight saying he knows how to play against them. There's a reason why Oshia Basa, in as much as Basa was scoring, he will find ways and means or the show. So not only their own team stop you from scoring, but he will make sure that Osha Treya or Besha for same or the share Basa. Here be a Chebi Edeko share against Barcelona. So the coach behind this team, your coach Bialisto, is a very good coach. Now, virus in fact how Al Hilal for set up when he was going to Al Hilal. A lot of people were saying that Inzaghi was not going to play that 3-back system, but Russia hats off to Simeone Inzaghi. Only few weeks or call Al Hilal, people didn't even believe that. But yes, still, the formation mostly like a 5-3-2 low block system. 5-3-2 and I say a 5-4-1 system, and most of the times when he is defending, then opponent need possessing ball, man. A better be a 6-3-1 formation.
I'm not a captain now, Moby.
Why?
No. Okay.
Remember, so because there are 2 important attacking players.
Yeah.
Omar Mobi in the space of Mitrovic and Al-Dasari.
Yeah.
One more game.
Captain.
Yes. Now you listen to Uchaki game now. How almost set it happen? There are key pointer every game you mobile. No Mitrovic, no Abranta and Al-Dasari. But yes, still they found ways and means to score. And when it comes to coach and the others in Zagia, purely about structure. Now, check your lineup now. Ruben Neves a part of the centre backs. Ruben Neves is himself as a centre back or a central midfielder in the game. Now, who check it on lineup now. Cancelo, any Abrantande, Eddie Al-Hadi, Ebo as the left back. Then the 3 centre backs was Koulibaly, any Lodi. Lodi names the Lodi a typical left back. But the Lodi in terms of how I'm building up. Now, with Lodi playing in the setup, and now City for no did everything they had to do in terms of possession, how hold your weight in the virus waiting the how City when they are in the possession, not check here in terms of possession, in terms of games are produce the they made sure say they will have Doku, Savio, Aït-Nouri, and no Mendes going into the half spaces, no, and then no, there were a lot of games create that chances. There are a lot of games create that chances. The virus bet check here. The next one after the team's lineup, they were how almost set up saying Doku, Nuri, and how create chances. What she goals are and no share. It was behind that half spaces, especially the chance Aït-Nouri, a coco boy, and this is how almost set up the virus back. They are to wear one, especially when they are setting up from the right side.
And the way they were playing, I was watching them. Only 2 players no more used to defend you.
Yeah, yes.
Then
City. That is the reason why I say
this setup in the Premier League.
Recipe for disaster.
Yes.
And you see, Listo, mostly Uchake Barca team now. Mostly last season like this, when Barca was playing, always be if they are defending now, no more attack here. Once always been a but the physicality of fullbacks very key. That is the reason why, especially when Alejandro Badi prayer, na Barca for Mobreno, because the physicality for you to return back in time, here. That is the reason why, especially with PSG say they have a player. Out to me because even if Nuno Mendes any player bit say Hakimi Kokrana, they have N'Golo Kante with Fle Joao Neves ultimately situation. But in this game they didn't have a Rodri, and even if they don't have Rodri Crabot in this game, Rodri now worked na fee over 1 year with that AC on how ananko that intense
obey Muka within 10-15 minutes or something.
Now virus on fire another one City for attack it from the left side and to swim maybe the left side same picture like this, but I don't know second the left side home how they also setting up from the left side, and so I say back on about there's a circle and it's no more they say especially in the left side Aït-Nouri in your ball now, especially Mugo no machine the first one. You see how Aït-Nouri a support you in ya that cross ball na ball deflect and nobody should go. They are going to do a lot of things they are going to do a lot of things but then this is a City. Doku Nekita Bon. They have Gundogan running into the box. They have Aït-Nouri. Now there is a next picture. The next game in the band, Aït-Nouri was in the box and they ultimately game. So with City, they did very well. But the thing is, when you are going to set up like this against some teams, at least their opponent nobody say definitely you are going to dominate the game. And Adebakwe ha Pep Guardiola and say Guardiola in the game, whether he's defending, whether he's possessing, he wants to have control of the game. And that is one thing Untimi having always, especially in the game. Now let's look into how Adebakwe boy I virus ma we ndasumami. Adebakwe boy Inzaghi team list to Washa, especially Inzaghi with Inter Milan last season against Barcelona and how I'm going to do final. One of them share teams are more pressing behind. We had they won't play he will have ways and means to and idea a bomb and say list to in their team. In as much as and a month for Saudi for no retirement league or Mucheska, they have some players at least and they if a mobile Europa, they will play to the highest level. And they will not know that podium with that incredible save against ASAVio. Used to Bono played for Sevilla or more Europa Leagues or more he was part of that team. And then he played for Morocco World Cup semi-final. So Tidiana Bonuno only as a goalkeeper in air world football. He's a top goalkeeper over Europa or best starting any of the teams. Now they have Kalidou Koulibaly, who had an incredible stint with Air Napoli. About Chelsea, one should have incredible season with Chelsea. But yes, it doesn't depict the fact that he's a fine centre back. They have Ruben Neves. no can a central or can start 3 back no and used to Ruben Neves and say he will control the tempo of the game from deep. And then they have Milinkovic Savic, one of the best midfielders for the last 10 years in Europe, especially in the Serie A. No ball has you. Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, Man United, they were chasing this guy until when the contract ran down, the money came in and not tries to be moved to Saudi Arabia. They have Malcolm, players, Lodi, and even Juan Cancelo, who was an integral part of almost first go share that overlapping run on here, and it's our own go now Malcolm share that pass, and then they cancel. But so this is how they were almost set up a pass from the goalkeeper to Malcolm. So mom was ignoring, you know. So I don't know, yeah, deep. So always they were having overload. Cancel the anymore. Malcolm then Milinkovic Savic. The virus of a picture been to Omamia as a 3 lines between that players. No. Anytime your match said yes, Ruben Neves started from deeper or the Marco Libali leave City for a press high with Doku Halani Samiwa. They make sure say they will overload the left side. But be a Malcolm, Cancelo, any Milinkovic Savic, and even their striker Leonardo, and so on. So anytime you're on board deep at the command Leonardo, I know closely up. The closest player to Abranta Malcolm, Milinkovic Savic. Also, whenever Onya born, he's one of the players I know. So Kita he's a creative player. And they have several ways to set it up. If they are not going to do that way, Bruno or Koulibaly will play the ball high, because at that moment Aït-Nouri and the Tijani Randers no more at that moment. No, Obefa ball no area abilities. He will just flick the ball to Abranta and Eddie Malcolm. How I laugh on almost setting up their build up from deep players, because they have players capable of building from the deep side. Liverpool, Manchester City, press no, especially on the left side. They have Lodi there, and a Lodi. Anytime be a ball, the Lodi or the player playing from the left side, a 1v1 situation between any Abranta and the Nunez, also Erani from the middle Oba. In general, they tried as much as possible to kill. To have their moment. Almost defending Yenra. And it's a virus the air match statistics in better so. After extra time winning 4, City dominated the game 68 possession, big chances. It was City bought 30 shots. 30 shots, and they said a move 6 were big chances, and then the corner kicks. City had 19 corner kicks. And the goals are I highlight for the show with corner, crossing, counter attack. There are different structures with this City team. They used all these structures and then they almost striker needing Leonardo. The 2 goals were sharing now were from a great positioning. If they had Mitrovic, they would have had several ways punishing Manchester City, especially from the set pieces and in the so I think that yesterday's game was an incredible game for Ireland. Finally, a match the projects are the kind of money almost splash after the game. Their club president, also on his supporters, they are making a statement. It's not as if say Ahila team apart from say FIFA club what else they have making history, But then the message they want the world to do, go they are just investing in the football for people to get to know them, because they have the money, but they are not well known. So this kind of money and investment
they are actually well known, yes. But they are known for wrong reasons.
Yes.
Their public appeal, about more atrocities towards women, towards journalists, towards a lot of things. So they want to rewrite a image into the new prince. Sam, I don't know. I think he had an education outside Saudi, and he's trying as much as possible to bring the image of her, and they've been able to be successful. Though a huge investment, they started bringing the formulas there.
Yeah.
Almost UAE, almost started the Formula 1 for any way call. Then they started to bring boxing. Now they were hosting a lot of events there. Then this, and they've been able to money to win a World Cup bid, which has ultimately completed a year or more. revolution. So let's see how it goes with football. No?
They are happy saying Messi because this is a club. When they were coming to the Club World Cup, they wanted to have Osimhen and Bruno Fernandes to their team, and now they've gotten a coach or the team Champions League final. No, join them. So they are just trying to make a statement, and I think that they did very well. In fact,
so let me ask this: will this resource confirm what Ronaldo is saying?
Oh yes, but
say league, you know, better than
the French league.
The thing is, the league. I'm not saying Zambia league, you know, is better than the French league.
But no, can the competitiveness?
Yes, because every league they are competitive. But what Ronaldo is saying is because a clear message. People believe that Honor the share and ball first Ronaldo first game or goalkeeper no a captain say or more hardware shop or so or a Messi news a then. So the narrative of position say if Ronaldo is playing at a Saudi, it means the league is competitive. In fact, some of the players are more Ireland. Most of them will start in Europe. In Europe, so whatever message he was coming out on, and I reflect what I say that Ireland, Saudi champions, actually one of the best teams in Europe. So clear that they have good players there, and so I think that kudos to them. And finally, shortly on Internet Fluminense there.
Yeah, before I will be back my name is what does this resource and the mean for Chelsea part?
Oh yes,
because some more Chelsea part.
Oh yes, then no be any say definitely with the baby a Chelsea part no you get an European semi-final. The semi-final by now the only team over that path, especially baby Chelsea now, Chelsea pay. They have Fluminense and Ireland and also Palmeiras.
Okay,
but it's a clear statement for them because I don't think Chelsea will underrate any Brazilian club or any club because in fact even if you are going to play against Ireland, if you see their squad, you know say in as much as they are coming from Saudi, they have experienced players about ball to the highest level in Europe and they are not maybe 40 years old. In fact, even against Palmeiras, I don't think Chelsea will underrate Palmeiras because of what Flamengo did to them in the who Flamengo performance in the league. So with this tournament, it's clear say some of the teams have been winning, especially the African teams couldn't make it that statement. But then the Southern American teams and the other teams of Saudi Arabian clubs, they are making statements say because if you're boy Ireland Madrid boy, it tells you that they have the quality and they can compete with any other team. So a clear statement say if you are going to meet any other team, you don't have to underrate any team. Because it's a tournament and everybody wants to win the tournament. In fact, the kind of money that's also be a budget. Everybody wants to win because Madrid say, Florentino Perez, if they're able to win the tournament, 100 and something, 25 players or with that 40 players are tournament, everyone is getting $1 million. And the club will still get almost 60 million in their coffers after giving 1 million each to each player. Now, who Kobo Club World Cup 1 month near 1 million. I mean, in fact, so I think it's a clear message to the clubs, not even to more Chelsea part. Dortmund will play against Montreal, and it's also a clear statement for them that they shouldn't underrate any team. Madrid, and so also a lot of clubs they saw it, especially with Bayern Munich. How was it Benfica and one of the Brazilian teams, Botafogo. PSG. So right from the onset of the competition, say that this narrative said European class might change because we've seen Botafogo scoring PSG, Flamengo scoring Chelsea, and all these clubs scoring these big clubs. So the narrative in there, it's a sign. There are big clubs. No, that narrative, especially in the group stages, in the early stage of the group stage. Now to Inter Milan from Fluminense game, I think that Inter team, they are not back from that heartbreaker final normal boy, and then after that team set up and everything. Fluminense when they went into the game with that 5-back system on boy, Thiago Silva made 3 crucial interceptions, tackles, being a leader, and the more players they went in higher winning. I think that Inter Milan they have to start from the scratch with the players or more and after the game Lautaro Martinez can't say me. He said some of the players are not committed and if they want to die for the shirt. BP Morata, who is the president for Inter Milan, Abekasa said that shot was to Brandt and the other Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Çalhanoğlu so out. Abekasa said whatever statement Brandt and the other Martinez kind of after the game. He believes that it's not something that a be United club, but it's something that I don't believe is a be like a will undivide the squad anyhow they are setting up. Beppe Marata are confirming it was sports media sets say or no interpreting Martinez word no positively, and he feels like or highlighted some suppositions and some truth be a waiting, especially concerning, and he believes that he's referring to Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and Çalhanoğlu listo Wahabe Kasa after Saneman, and you see, in fact, why will even Martinez talk about players not dying for the club? If players are not ready for the club, they shouldn't play for the club. And then Hakan Çalhanoğlu and Bokim. And the message no calling is players that are not committed to the team, players are moving to other team, because Hakan Çalhanoğlu listo, he's the captain for the Turkish national team. And Galatasaray being one of the best, arguably the biggest team Turkish league.
You want to return to Turkey?
Yes, they want to buy him. And the contract not ever be ended. So there's been conversations. But this player, they've find out also pride.
Yeah.
Yes, no more uniform. And no more US. He was part of the squad on US. During training, and no sans to tie na or say unfortunately during training in the US, in the statement, they call IG no. I sustained another injury in a completely different area. The diagnosis, a muscle tear. So he had to return back home. Because we pray there's no need for him to stay in the US, and that injury made it impossible for me to be part of the pitch during the tournament. So he didn't play. So people didn't know. People were saying, "Say, but the club president and Hakan Çalhanoğlu message about say they were referring to him, and also the message about say he loved the club, he loved it, but then if there's time or something, Beppe Marota say they will find some ways and means after the tournament they are going home. They will communicate with the player and they will find ways and means about me. Even if Hakan Çalhanoğlu is still there, I think that the relationship between him and Lautaro Martinez, in fact, after losing that game, our player won't move. Statement. If the statement is to the players are more patience, one of the players are more.
I think he didn't mention anybody's name.
Statement was with performance.
Yeah, he didn't mention anybody's name.
I think the sporting director looking into content.
And yes, sporting director they said I don't know can say we're making statements.
Yes.
And they know where he's coming from, because and no game no. There's no
from the outside
about
view, nobody knows where he's coming from.
It's about move. If you want to move. And they believe that when the mommy make a point
with James making an Instagram post say if you don't want to help us carry the bricks, you can move out. No being himself is to Messi man, but they see there hasn't been any official statement.
But the reason why I'm making sense, this is the club president. About and the player no so you're part of also the statement about, so it tells you
that players statement based on what the club president said.
I'm not saying say what I'm saying is Lautaro Martinez
general statement about the performance. Some players
I want to try and get the quote
committed.
Some of the quote was about apart from commitment. It was referring to if you want to move, as in some of the players want to move in this tournament. So after Beppe Marota and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Amanfo Accra Jamba say to Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and even with this Çalhanoğlu, he's referring to say there's been conversations say it was about me, because it means that before Abrante US score there were other conversations in the camp. So, and on person about tournament, because Galata. Let me make my point. I'm not making the contest. I'm talking about after the statement. Two statements are
after Martinez statement. Na club president never can say.
One
say Martinez statement is about Çalhanoğlu. Na Martinez in person about play and he. That was the statement.
And I'm saying, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, the statement Hakan Çalhanoğlu
statement after the club president,
That is what I'm talking about. I just American.
But Umane Philly said Hakan Çalhanoğlu also went against Martinez.
But what we did Hakan
Çalhanoğlu statement.
So Hakan Çalhanoğlu statement, in reply to whatever Martinez is saying. Let me read. Listen.
What the rumors are
the club that is what he's replying. Whether a club is to Martinez, whether you like it or not, because but did Martinez also mention
Martinez and Bonidi? Martinez was
making me point, because you see.
Okay, so Mami read it, Maybe Lautaro Asemo Kaini. I say I want to fight for top titles. who want to stay at Inter, very good, and let's fight. Who doesn't want to stay, they can go and leave. We need players who want to be here. We are wearing an important jersey. We need top mentality. Or please leave.
Yes, and also in Hakan Chanoglu.
And president
contest.
Hakan Chanoglu say,
journalists say with free Champions League final. Sisi and FIFA Club World Cup competition, they are out. It's as a player, no, opeso free Inter na, and that was his reply.
When the club president ban or say they have moved now some of the players because they believe that the players number one they don't see any uncommitted player. And the club president, let me build him a point. And the club president, he feels Martinez was referring to Akacha. Now Chanoglu, you know, in the last part, that is the first one. So I say I respect every opinion, even from a teammate, even from the club president. Now, I say by respect, it's not a one-way street. And Obe continue to say, I've always shown respect on and off the pitch, and I believe that in football, as in life, true strength lies in showing respect, especially when emotions are running high. I've never betrayed a club. I've never said I'm not happy at Inter. There were offers in the past, tempting ones, but I stayed because deep down, I know what the shed means to me, and I believed my actions spoke clearly. I've had the honor of wearing the captain's armband for my country, and I've learned the leadership means standing by your team, not pointing fingers when it's the easiest.
So this statement.
Let me finish my point.
This statement is to the president.
You had your time. Let me finish my point.
One make statement. Let me address.
You are not addressing this issue before me buy.
Let me address it.
You let me finish my point. No, let me finish my point.
And your point as
me point. Any list issue. Me statement no bar. So let me finish my point. Then if you want to come this, I'm not owing on. So list according to you are not addressing me. I'm more friends and makers. I don't make a question. So me issue is say with whatever Hakan Chanoglu kasa, we are outsiders. You don't know whatever who go inside. And with statement open on the media sets and they reply Hakan Chanoglu this morning or jab out, go to the comment section. The family members and the wife all over the comment section. It means that there were some misunderstanding before they play and the clever. And then Galafo president Amanaya clear said they want to sign the player. So with me, Hakan Chanoglu used to Inter Milan, they almost discuss and boom Milan for as signing all these players about. And if it's right for Hakan Chanoglu to move, me this statement Laturo the club president referring if it's time for him to move, and I don't see say with this statement and everything about it, I don't see that Hakan Chanoglu will still continue even if they will find ways and means for him to stay Ghana. The relationship between him especially and Laturo Martinez no be sound because the statement is directly to Laturo Martinez and the club president. Okay. So to me, I think that Hakan Chanoglu right now Galatasaray for president I'm making it clear that he wants the boys to move. And no 1 year captain for likely the money Galatasaray so they ban. Clear say he's going to move to Galatasaray.
Yo wait. Please do. My main make statement way clear to BBR OTA. Martinez statement was a question being asked him and no explain he said on 1 year not doing so be free Inter. He wants to
Can you get us the question?
There be your point. My point. The statement was addressing question Bisano and no explain here. And the explanation was of say players need mean especially from the Champions League final down to this time we free tournament on who that way to obi person ko bi onko. And after that the club president Beka say in case ono feel say Nipa Martinez can asem Chanoglu into so ebi ontimi mbo nipa ni di ono bo edin na shemama no. That was when Chanoglu came to release that statement making people understand say ebi omu hu ni din was squad no enye say ebi sorry na ode ne pekot na afie but it's based on injury. And the last statement that we read you know he never mentioned Martinez's name or no address. He said ebi a players no mo feel say on fan who me
you are talking as if you don't know. Nipa is talking about the club.
And
the captain. Who is the captain for Inter Milan? Who is the captain for Inter Milan? Who is the captain for Inter Milan? I think we're so team. Who is the captain? Some people closer to the team. Who is statement? No, I'm not be there. Put any mirror.
Okay, Mommy,
he mentioned team captain.
Mommy, share
and the leader.
Or mention team captain. Omenshi captain on the stage.
Who is the leader?
Maybe some
Who is the leader in the team?
Oh, Vincent.
And statement, but opinion, man, about don't do as if you say.
Who your submission, man, Kasa?
And your submission. You had your time. One.
Who your submission, man, Kasa? Now the person you should be blaming in this situation. Club president. For not being matured enough.
Club president, no one who is closer to the issue. No him.
Yeah,
not being matured enough. Embet na ham be can be club president in matured enough.
Mommy and share also no.
Oh. Yes, internet odds am dey match 4 no 4 odds 4.35 odds. And Real Madrid and Juventus game bet builder send am a boss no. Real Madrid win or draw over 2.5. Both team to score and a second half over 0.5 and a corners of 8.5. Code no Y4PY. Y4PY. MYBET.AFRICA.
Yes, my selection for the day more 2 bet builder selections. Borussia Dortmund any Montreal game no double chance for Borussia Dortmund over 1.5 goals in that game and over 4.5 bookings in that game. Madrid any Juventus double chance for Real Madrid, both teams to score over 2.5, over 8.5 corners and over 4.5 bookings. Total odds in 20 points 4 odds. Code no 83PY 83PY.
Okay, so media no Dortmund CF Montreal fouls plus 12 Edema Montreal and Real Madrid ne Juventus away goal and I will call Finlander Kupion and Gnistan and above 1.5. Yeah, so I had 3 games where I'm out of 2. Out of 2. I don't I'll try my beba. Nafe yababe review Real Madrid and Juventus game no and Dortmund and Montreal for no on bobo papa mo intensity no so. Dortmund improve the kind of games are Dortmund abono. But one say another upset to me. Nyame adom ochna ye be say